everybody, it's Christine. It is day 24 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. This one is by Jen Miller, and I'm seeing a kind of a big mat behind, like, you know, you got some of these diagonal cut papers here. She's kind of got these cool circles. I got to think about that just a minute. I think I'm going to cut out a circle and then cut it in half and do it like that. She's got 3 photos. I think I'm only going to have one photo because I got this cute one of my daughter and me drinking some boba tea. I think I'm going to use cut aparts maybe down here, but then she's got some big florals. I don't see a title, so I have to think about where I might put that after I get this kind of going here. I'm kind of imagining down here with the cut aparts, but no, maybe up here. Don't know yet. Hadn't figured that part out yet. We'll get there. Again, as I showed you the pictures, me and my daughter were drinking some boba teas in DC. I'm going to use this Jen Hadfield Reaching Out, mostly because I've got it over here in my little stash, and I'm thinking, you know what, Christine, you got a ton of patterns, and I'm not really going like, in a sense, kind of themey. I don't think I'll use anything with the houses, but there's some cute little patterns in here, like dancing girls and, you know, bicycles and just fun little things. And so I'm thinking I'm just going to go with that. And then I pulled out this cardstock from my stash. It's an old Stampin' Up. It was called Island Indigo is the name of it. I actually was smart enough to label it. But here's some of these cut aparts. So I think I'm just going to like somehow use some of these, or I have another sheet of them in here. Oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll use one of these ones. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't know I had these big ones in here. I like these. Oh, I love that. Maybe I'll go with these. We shall see. I like that. I like that. So that is what I'm going to start with. So give me just a second. I got to figure out my patterns and things like that, and I will come back on in just a moment.
Well, y'all, I got so clever, I thought. So the first thing I did is I did mount this, it's the little foiled hearts on kind of a peachy pinky kind of color. That's going to be the main background, and I've already mounted that on that kind of, the indigo cardstock. And then in the pattern paper had this little gingham here that's on the diagonal. And I thought to myself, I'm going to be so clever because I think I can use that to help me have the proper angles, because frankly, guys, if I tried to just cut angled paper on those corners, I just know it's never completely right. It's just never straight. It never is the right, you know, it's not properly angled or whatever. And I thought, you know what, if I use these little lines on here as my guides, and then I can put my outside paper underneath and in the front, I can make it work. So that's what I did. And frankly, it worked, y'all. I was kind of proud of myself. I'm not going to lie. So the sketch kind of called for like a darker pattern paper on the very outside corners. And this little sheet here with this Better Together was the darkest paper in there. I didn't really have anything else darker. Everything else is a little bit actually kind of light colored. So I go with this, and I think this looks cute. I have no issue with this at all. I think it looks great. And guess what? My little corners are going on here just perfectly. And so I'm happy with this, y'all. I'm not going to lie. Now I have to take scissors in just a minute. I'm going to cut along these corners here to cut this off. And then I have my 2 layers of corners for the sketch, you know, that's showing. And I'm happy with this. I'm not going to lie. This is real fun. Now, the tricky part here now is I'm going to have to do my other pattern, which is going to be the floral that you're seeing there on the left. So in hindsight, I kind of mentioned during the intro that had all these fun patterns like dancing girls and bicycles and things. I didn't use any of those, y'all. I stayed a little bit traditional with the pattern. So I'm going to stick this this corner down here, and I thought, okay, what I decided to do is I'm going to take my ruler in a second, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to kind of measure away. Oops, I had forgotten to take the branding strip off. You also had to take that off. So I'm going to put this up here. But I'm going to measure kind of away from my little gingham corner thingy there. And I thought about measuring and drawing a line and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, no, you know what? Christine, just move that to the side a little bit. And then I'm going to use my ruler here to tear my corners. And I'll do the same thing on the other side, so I'm not going to show you. But this worked perfectly. I'm not even going to lie. I kind of liked it. And it offered a little bit of a texture on that side. So now it's time to work on my circles, or my little half circle rather. So I take my little creative memories, and I'm going to cut it out of this heart paper, and I'm kind of doing this heart world thing because I have decided that one of the cut aparts I'm going to use on this layout is the whole we are the change we wish to seek or whatever. And so I'm going to use this as my circle here. So I cut this, I think it's an 8-inch circle, and I'm going to cut it in half. Now first I start to line it up straight up and down. I'm thinking, and then I went, oh, whoa. Those circles are at angles, right? Because I've got those corners. So I had to kind of turn it to make sure that when I laid the circle down, my hearts were going the right direction, y'all. So make sure you pay attention to that kind of stuff. If your patterns are directional, make sure you're paying attention where your directions are, because I've I've hurt my own feelings sometimes not paying attention. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of pull everything back together here. Now these are, I'm going to tell you, a little big in the sense of like they touch each other here, right? So I will end up having to trim those in, which is not a big deal. I just take my little cutter and I go in, you know, a ½ inch or whatever, and I just match it up. And I'm going to stick that underneath there. Now, I will end up scuffing the edges of these little guys. I scuff the edges of these little worlds, and I will also scuff the edges of my cut-aparts. They looked a little unfinished to me otherwise, and so I'll end up doing that on both sides. I think I have to trim that bottom one there, too, just a little bit. I think I do. Not by much. I think a 1/4 inch or something like that. But just to give myself a little space between the two circles, I do trim that just a little bit. So now I have mounted my photo on a little black and white polka dot. It was just kind of one of the extra patterns in there, and I thought, okay, that works fine. I do put it up on foam, and then I'm also going to end up putting up the little turquoisey cut apart with the little globe on it. He's going to go up on foam as well. The other one's just going to be flat. And then I'm going to get into all the little ephemeras that are in my iris box. Actually, I think I get into the stickers first, so my apologies. Let me wait just a second. I don't remember what I did first, but I feel like I pulled my title out because I actually don't glue my photo down for just a brief second. I know I have some florals in that little iris box in the upper right corner there, but I don't know exactly what they look like, so I didn't glue it down yet, my photo, but I do glue my 2 cut-aparts here down. I know they kind of want to go on there. So I kind of like that. So I've done the 1 photo and then the 2 cut-aparts instead of 3 photos, but you could have, of course, easily used, 3 photos there. I decided that was a little too low for my title, and I am just going to entitle this Besties. And honestly, because my daughter and I are basically besties. She was actually making the comment the other day. She goes, Mom, I don't feel like I have a lot of friends. And I'm like, honestly, baby, the older you get, you don't really have a lot of friends. It's not really meant like that. The older you get, the problems get bigger, and you kind of need people that, honestly, that you can trust. And it's hard to trust a big number of people. You usually end up with a couple, 3 people that are just right for you, and that's your friends, right? So here's where I pulled out the ephemera. It's like these double branched leaf things or something. So I cut all those in half, and then I've kind of sorted through them, and I've kind of built some little clusters, kind of where she showed on the sketch, basically where she showed on the sketch. And I built that little clusters. I did have to use a lot of black and white. I don't think that's really wrong or bad, though, because there is a lot of pattern going on this layout, y'all. There's sometimes I make layouts. I'm like, holy cow, Christine, that's a lot of pattern. And I guess theoretically I could have avoided that with having a background that didn't have a pattern to it. Little hearts might have been a white cardstock or something like that. But actually, I don't think this looks bad. That's still kind of almost neutral-ish. So I think this is kind of pretty, actually. So I'm just kind of organizing those little flowers and stuff. And then I end up getting my sticker book, and I find, honestly, the little emoji faces were just adorable. And then I pulled out a few rainbows, and I just kind of stick them under in the little emoji areas. I put like a couple of emojis in each area. And then I put like 1 rainbow in each area. And honestly, that was just to kind of flesh stuff out. I just thought they were cute. I'm kind of poking around through the sticker, but I do find this one little phrase that says better together. And so I decided to put that on there and underneath the little Besties title there. And I just kind of poke around for just a minute, but I think that's all I do decide to get out of all this. I kind of look at these little cut-aparts one more time. I think I even set one down just to audition in that between the 2. And then I decide, no, this looks perfect just the way it is. The sketch is completely correct. See, I try that for just a second. I go, nope, that's not needed. Not needed at all. So I start piling it back up. I'm not going to use any of it. I still have so much of this collection left, y'all. It's ridiculous. But I do decide I want some enamel dots. So I'm going to get out my little, it's kind of a peachy pinky kind of enamel dot. And I'll sprinkle those about just a bit. I think I put basically 3 in each little section here. I don't know if she really, well, she had like, the sketch showed like big old floral things. I guess you could put enamel dots in there. But I'll sprinkle those about for just a second. And then that is honestly all I'm going to do the layout. I don't do any mixed media or anything like that. I kind of felt like I said, there was a lot going on already with the patterns. And I thought it was fine the way it was. So that is all I'm going to do. So let me slow it down so you can kind of see it up close here. Look at those pretty patterns. I think that looks great. And that's it, y'all. So make sure you check out the playlist. Honestly, God, I bet by now there's probably 250 videos. I don't know if you haven't kept up. You're going to be in trouble. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my Instagram as well. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye.